To start, and hey, we're gonna start right now. Also, I am in the wrong language because I did everything to English. So, well, I translate, not really translate, but I made everything so possible to play in English for myself, just for the sake of ease of access. And yeah, there's not really much else to say except for the fact that I am using modded events and quote unquote events, but really enemies. And one Ath run, one Zac test run, one Zac test run as always, and I'm gonna have to just be happy with what I get. But while we're here, yes, I'm kind of just getting rid of the most of these, some of other custom stuff as I get into Ath, World of Horror character, exclusive custom character, and if anything else appears during the week, then I will replace whatever I plan for next weekend with another 1.02 stream. But for the moment, I just wanted to do some other I want to do some other characters that were not in English for the sake of at least, you know, trying them out. Light, second, mystery, strength, dexterity, second encounter, and maybe Takshisan. But for the moment, yeah, 8 strength is pretty good. I thought we had less than that, but I'm going crazy. Also, I will need to take a break because I'm taking care of something in the meanwhile. And if anything weird happens, I literally pull these characters directly from Workshop, save for obviously, you know, really what I did was just translate the bonuses into English, so I at least get the bonuses, because if you don't translate the bonuses, you don't get them. So, yeah, Coma, Sailors, Teacher, something, Vigil, and Scissors. So, we'll take Scissors, why not? And we will see what happens. If you're on Timeline A, great. If not, Pain. But, yeah, so some Pain. I mean, we're still okay. The Carpenter Hammer, in my opinion, isn't the worst weapon. It's not usually what you want, though, I admit. But as I have the empty bottle and I forgot to do a thing. Oh boy, what fun. But don't forget that there are characters like this, you know, here and there, all around waiting to be played. But among other things, I mean, starting with a weapon is usually good regardless, so it's hard to really argue about the stats being, you know, 4, 4, 4, 5, except for strength, and that's really the only one I usually care about, so okay, and you can argue it can make things easier, but you know, if you don't believe, then this is a fair enough run. Bow for a claps, by the way. So that being said, as we start to deal with some custom events in the school, we'll do our best because the custom events are the other twist and turn. That is, well, twists and turns that are waiting for us in these runs. So no matter how strong I might seem, boy. Also, I got them completely wrong, by the way, so bow, clap, clap, bow, clap. So, whoops, just took unnecessary damage. But that's how loose I'm playing, knowing that I have a weapon in 8 strength. I can't stress it again. Or I can, but I mean, yeah, that's how much I don't care. Also, on my own, winging it. On my own, please. We'll still take Strain. Quick Thinking would not have been bad, but those two perks are actually quite good, in my opinion. Vigil Teacher, bleh. So we'll take Vigil with 4 Reason, why not? We have Brainworms, but I don't want to cast that. Well, if we forget it, we don't get to do a thing, so never mind. Smile. We get a sewing kit for our trouble. We actually need Reason, so we'll see if we run into the Floating Head, which we do. So, hey, fun times. Now that being said, I don't want to take too much Reason damage, so instead we're going to Brace Prep Strong. Yo, my goodness. Granted, I have 10 strength right now, so it's not really... This is not normally what you're able to do. Let's just say that much. But I did take the thing on my own, on top of a strength increase, so it's really fun right now. But, again, if I run into certain enemies, it's not going to be fun anymore. 4 claps. Give you a round of applause. Move on with life. And away I go. Lift the heaviest box. So even though we have Doom to spare, we'll just lift the heaviest box. Well, since we're already healed, let's just use the hair anyway. If for no other reason, then we can grab a meat cleaver. We're not on random item stats, so we still want to stick with the Carpenter Hammer for the moment, but hey, we'll keep exploring. I just have to check something, but we'll see. So, we'll lie for the moment, and we have 3 luck apparently. I didn't even remember that, because I'm pretty sure I looked at the stats, but again, I literally pulled these characters from the workshop, so yeah. that being said, let's try this out and see what happens. Curse signs, 30 reason. Oh, we lose 3 reason but get 30 experience. On top of Frostbite. Not the best, but hey. We get Hard Knock. But I would rather take... Oh, never mind. I'll take Hard Knock then. And away we go. I do want to get rid of this Frostbite soon, but we're fine for the moment. Trust me. As we burn the envelope, lose 1 reason, and move on with life. But yes, the moment I run into certain other enemies, this is not going to be a very fun run. Even though I can run from them, I think. But hey, as I run to the Glitch Magician, we can still do this. Do I want to? 85%, and I don't really get that much out of it. So I guess I am going to do this, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, well, with that said, I could take another gamble, but instead I'm just going to throw the wooden bat and guarantee the 2-turn. So, goodbye, Glitch Magician. You have, well, all things considered, if we're looking at this character and their lore, yeah, Glitch Magician is nothing for them to worry about. But anywho, now if we get some crossovers going on, we'll find out in a hot moment, as I mentioned before. Yeah, we lost the bat, so empty bottled pain, but more importantly, let's get rid of this Frostbite. What's our max threat level location, by the way? Aside from, I think, Hospital? Because I think Hospital was, yeah, Hospital and Mansion, which I just got out of. And I don't remember a darn thing, so let's just police station the hospital, because I'm going crazy here. And yeah, so yeah, I think I mentioned it, but yeah, I may have to go AFK after a run or two, because I have to take care of something, but shouldn't be that bad. I don't normally like to go AFK at all during a 1-2 hour stream, but we'll see. Nice, by the way. Yeah. The territory, anywho. A cave? We failed, but I thank you for the experience regardless. It's pain, but we could do a lot worse. Oh my goodness, the funds. It hurts. But the more important thing is that I get to pass. I do not remember any of those stat checks at all, but hey, we'll deal with it. To all, we'll deal with this too. I could opt to with a certain point, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Instead, I may even heal Reason here. My strength is high enough as it is. Also, thank you for the have fun comment. I will have fun. Now, it'll seem like I'm not having fun, but I promise you I am having fun as I get nearly throttled here. I think I can brace into something. Oh, I definitely can brace into something. So we'll do this. In the next turn, by the way, just to catch you really quickly, if you were confused, yes, I am doing another stream after this stream on the game Lily's Well, and that's all I have to say. Although, if you're afraid of jump scares or whatnot, I can't guarantee that there aren't any jump scares. So just a quick warning to anyone, really. And we'll move on. But yeah, that said, I'm going to put the sensor up preemptively if I can. I can. And let us take 2 stamina damage in the face. We have these painkillers anyway. And away I go. So, yeah, I can't guarantee that there aren't any, so I would highly advise anyone who's scared of jump scares, or is wary of jump scares, sorry, you shouldn't stay in. Although I'm pretty sure there are jump scares. It's a game that I've seen other people play, but it's been a while since I've seen it at all, so yeah, I don't actually remember anything. So, which is why I called it a blind stream. If you are willing to believe me and believe that I didn't look at anything. After the stream, though, I will definitely look at things, just for the sake of, you know, completing the game. Oh, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm undecided as of yet. Because there is a point to going through games without looking at guides or anything. I mean, I think there is some merit to it, but we'll see what I decide to do ultimately. Try Lost Bath. We get to level up again. We get Survival Instinct? No, Quick Thinking. Quick Thinking, 8 Dexterity, if it even matters. And then into coma I go. So we do have some hospital investigations. Will it matter? I guess we'll see. We'll ask another question. Get another piece of reason loss. I was gonna say dumb answer, but that doesn't apply there. But we'll see. Can I I mean, I succeeded that, but I need to remember I'm winging it. Oh no, like cattle, but yeah, thankfully I've not run into anything. I'm just picking the left option just out of convenience. Oh, nice winging it, by the way. Oh! But anywho. And even in the small little preview I did yesterday, oh, nice strength check, by the way. That was with winging it, but yeah, even with the preview yesterday, technically there's an audio. There are things, as you know, when we think of jump scares, we normally think of graphical or visual jump scares, but there are such things as audio jump scares. If you know, even if nothing appears and something happens off screen, we should say, then something happens and you suddenly hear a sound out of the silence or something like that. That's what I mean by audio jump scares. Jump scares don't always need to be visual, though admittedly they normally are. I can go for something more. 99%, 89%. But yes, don't feel too bad, like, it's fine. You can't feel even worse today, you feel so unwell, you pretend, but yeah, so, again, don't push yourself. If there's any of my content that you don't want to watch for whatever reason, I will not force you to do so. So, hey. Also, I should just prep, or, I should have really desperate. How would I have known I was going to miss an 89%? But anyways, so we're going to technically die here, but I will be able to heal Reason. Will I be able? Yeah, okay, I'll be able to survive. So let us heal Reason here. And away we go. Again, I agree, even when I release this game and start playing that on this channel for whatever reason, I know that I will lose probably 90% of people, or there are 90% of people who watch World of Horror content on this channel will probably not watch that, or any other game I decide to play that's not World of Horror. So, that being said, I do have people following me around to other games anyway, so I don't have to feel the worst, but boy, also, we should rest here. We have the resources, we should rest. But yes. Not saying that people shouldn't do certain things, again, as I keep saying, please use your best interest, because, I mean, use your own mind to determine whether or not you want to follow me somewhere or not. Yeah, all I can, because, yeah, no matter what I say, there's no way for me to prove for certain that, certain things are happening. Maybe this is all a recording, and I'm speaking over it, pretending like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that I am doing a thing. Also, nice. I can fight this, funny enough, but the power is so high that, I mean, I still get to fight it, but 10 damage, 12 doom. I don't think it's really worth it. It's actually number-wise better to run, so we're gonna run. Fran, anywho. A new Power Road update on your birth. Oh yeah, that's right, and I need to get back into that. So even though I was talking about playing another game at some point, I think for sure I'm gonna do Princess Maker. Now, whether I'm gonna do Refine and then Regeneration when it comes out, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But we'll see. And for those who don't know what Princess Maker 2 is, I highly suggest you look it up. It's a daughter raising simulator, essentially. You get a daughter from the gods that comes in a ball of light. So not even a human being, but I mean, you get a cute girl to raise out of it, and it's a simulation management / slice of life game. Even though you are doing things and like raising a, what am I? Do I want to even say this? Like a Tamagotchi, except it's a anime girl. So isn't it considered a bit of a oof game though? I don't know about that, but all I think of when I see it is like, oh cool, you get to raise a daughter. But I mean, I guess because technically you raise her, like the game says itself. I'm quoting the actual development page. You raise a daughter between the ages of 10 and 18. You saw the game, make her that or a janitor. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like, basically, because when I look at these things like this, like, any anime, whether it's Sengan Kagura or Princess Maker 2, I think, what does the normal person think of when they look at this game? If I showed it to someone on the street and they'd be like, oh, you're raising a daughter, like, or don't, the worst I'd probably get out of it is, why don't you just raise a daughter in real life, and then people just get sad. But, I don't know, my mind doesn't normally go to there, but I understand where it comes from, because yes, I have, done some research, and yes, although, yeah, I have done some research, but it's not, considering what I've played on this channel, it's not explicit. And even when that's said, we're not going into weird, I don't even want to say the word because robots, but you get what I mean. I think there's like a moment or two, but it's not there to gratify any weird fetishes or whatnot, if I'm trying to say that. It's all still contained contextually within the game's story, if that makes any sense. And gameplay, if we're going like this. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. I don't know why people would make that connection, just, saying it outright. I just see it as a simulation racing game, and in fact, it's probably the only thing we have right now. So it's not like we have anything else. If you want a racing simulator, aside from, I think there are a few games developed by indie Chinese developers that do the same thing. I think there's one specifically. I remember coming across it, but essentially you are the child and you're growing up with your family. I think it's even called like Chinese Family or something if you translate it. But I mean, I know because I looked this up when I was thinking about what games to pick up, and when I was looking at Princess Maker 2, I looked at the genre of simulation management, and I think anime, and the top 5 results are Princess Maker 2 Refined, Princess Maker 3, and Princess Maker 5, so... I mean, like, what am I supposed to pick? But at the same time, I mean, obviously... Okay, let's put it out there, though. Obviously, though, as I complete that run, we're gonna do another run, but... Obviously, if a game has, if it does have explicit content that is not there for any other reason than, just to cater to some sick mind, then yes, obviously it should not exist. But again, everything contained within at least Princess Maker 2, from what I've seen, is makes sense within the game's context. Now, does it have to be there? No. That's how the same thing I said for, well, just say it outright, Abaddon. Where the game is I think the game is done well without adding the explicit stuff. But in that case, yes, that applies to that. And Princess Maker 2, as I get into task, medical history, character exclusive, random item, custom character again, Princess Maker 2 applies to Princess Maker 2. Now, if there's suddenly something again, and I think there's even a marriage ending, but aside from, let's give benefit of the doubt, because we have to talk about this now, otherwise, so I can really decide whether or not I want to play the game. But let me see. Also, let me just say this first. Palworld update makes Happy Hive exactly on your birthday. Oh, again, have fun with it, because yeah, it is. It might not be the biggest chunk, but it is a chunk. I mean, considering what we saw, at least what I saw. Second mystery, dexterity, strength, knowledge, light, and maybe second encounter. But yeah, so also 3 ZST, but not the worst thing in the world. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was talking about, because I was thinking about Palworld and how I was gonna get into that too. So now I'm kind of juggling things maybe, but we'll see. I know I was talking about Princess Maker 2 and how I was gonna play it. With Regeneration, but I might get Remake as well. So we will... Remake? Is that what it's called? Like, why am I going crazy? Anywho, Flood. If I remember what I was talking about, I'll keep talking about it. But until then, Flood, Painting, Scissors, Arms, Mermaids. We'll do Scissors again. If for no other reason than to level up faster. But let me see here. Oh, so that's what I was gonna say. Also, we are on timeline A. I'm gonna go for it. So Princess Maker, I think it does have an ending where the player marries the heroine. And let's give benefit of the doubt and say that, even though it's a fictional game, fiction does affect real life, even though I have something to say about that. But also, too, let's even give this one too, so that even though you're not blood related, yes, it is a bit like I wouldn't want to do it myself in a video game, because that does feel a little weird. But even after those 2 points, it's an ending that you're not likely to get, and if you do get, like, you consider the first 2 points that I went over and granted with doubt, but yeah, we'll see. All you can really say is to tread lightly with Princess Maker. Yeah, we'll see. Again, there's a month before Regeneration comes out, but there are worse things. There are worse things, and there are worse things. I don't think Princess Maker 2 deserves the discourse it's getting, but it's definitely safe for work, and I'm pretty sure again, the artist, because I respect the artist as well. The artist behind it was obviously a big factor of it. That's the artist is why the style of Princess Maker 2 even exists on itself. But like I don't know. I don't look at games like that and go, oh, because at this point you can apply a similar logic, though I will agree, the younger a character is, the obviously the worse it can become. As the age gets lower, it becomes more dangerous. That being said, we can apply a similar logic, at least in my place of residence, America, to anything that involves a school, because at that point, characters that are in school are probably below the age of 18. But again, this is just one weird guy playing games on the internet making his opinion. But again, my personal line is: is it there for, you know, a reason aside from it doesn't fit with the context of the story, the characters, so on and so forth, or the gameplay itself? If the gameplay is not also, you know, if the gameplay is there to be actual gameplay and not as a substitute for anything weird, like even without, you know, the S, we're talking about violence, for example, in GTA as well. But obviously, I also draw a line in terms of, I think violence is it depends on the country as well. Some countries obviously ban a lot more violent things than they do say drug-related things or whatnot. But again, don't take this as a personal, like, this is just me expressing my own opinion, and I'm not the most knowledgeable about these things, but, you know. And if you don't know, basically, yes, I'm just one guy saying things, and I'm saying my own, this is what I think and believe, and it's not obviously what pertains to legal things. Although I have looked into legal things because obviously I develop games myself, so I need to know what, mostly in terms of copyright, but anything that's violent, we'll just say it outright, sexual nature, has to do with drugs and whatnot, I want to make sure, heck, even streaming or making videos on YouTube here, I need to know the guidelines so that, you know, I don't get hit by a robot, or don't break any guidelines in general. That would be great. But as we go into painting, our Japanese culture is that the simulation part is looked at with a weird eye. Do I know what you mean? Yeah, and I know what you mean. So, and some of it is that back in the day there was less. How should I say? There was less regulation on things, and, you know, if there were less eyes on it. But now that there are, as I probably should have quit the criticism instead, because video games has just become more popular these days, especially after, you know, a few years ago when a lot of people were playing video games, then yes, there are a lot more eyes and a lot more regulation, and there's a lot more, again, whether a certain video game deserves it or not, there are a lot more, how should I say, I don't want to keep saying eyes, but I hope you get what I mean. There's a lot more, not discourse either. There's a lot more to look at and go back and, you know, judge, I guess, whether, again, better or for worse. And again, it's in this specific instance, when I look at Princess Maker, I don't even remember where I should go there. In Princess Maker 2, I look at that game and I don't think anything weird. It's just, you're raising a daughter. Now again, can it go in some place? Does there need to be specific CG or mentions here and there? No, but even with what is in there, it's usually within the confines of things that, you know, make sense within the game. I think there's like a few examples that don't need to be in there, because we can kind of just make up for it, but you can kind of just, you know, we can live without it. But now that if we're talking about people, because some of the discourse, some of the pushback in terms of, you know, because I know that Sony's censoring it on their platform, 2 endings and otherwise. Also, I made a mistake, by the way, but let me just focus here for a moment. 75%? We'll go for it. Yeah, hold on, let me just focus for a moment, because I am dying here. I think I can fight this still, but boy, does it not feel good. I didn't need to throw that, actually, because I think I could have just done this. But yeah, there are a few moments, but I have looked into things. Again, I usually look into games to see, okay, can I really do this game or not? for the sake of at least YouTube. And obviously there are people who played Princess Maker 2. It is not something too weird, in my opinion. But again, people are entitled to their own, not entitled. People are free to express their own opinion, but I don't know. It's really weird to suddenly just point that out. I understand where I can try to understand where it comes from, but ultimately it's just, if I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna play it. All right, and I'm not gonna think any weird thoughts as I'm raising a cute anime girl. But if I somehow, if I get the player married to the daughter somehow, that I don't know how I do it again, and I assume it's actually not quite easy. Last I remember, but I've looked into videos again. I'd like to look into discourse of certain video games if not for my own reason and use. And again, we can then apply this to, I hope you can understand where I'm coming from when I say you can apply this to anything that has to do with the high school, whether it's anime, manga, whether it's a video game or otherwise. Also Zektask things, but I think I'm okay by now because I have on my own, but yeah. So I need to get the Theologist still, so let's do that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I do know that Princess Maker, to end the topic for the moment, I do know Princess Maker 2 was censored on going into the PS4, PS5, which is why its release date is being pushed into August as opposed to the PC/Switch version, which is going to be available in mid-July. And yeah. So, I mean, that's the most I can say. Again, I am not by any means an expert or a knowledgeable person on the matters of what should and should not be censored and whatnot. Again, ultimately that all falls to whoever is in charge. Oh, I want to do this, by the way. Of censoring or allowing games to release. And that's part of it is the fan community as we kind of transition into video game censorship as a whole, but because at some point I do believe that regardless of a developer's original intent, if something is should not just exist, it should just not exist. Because there's no other reason other than weird reasons. Like for example, I think one prominent example we can not talk about, but think about is Manhunt, and that was on the violence spectrum. So, on top of other real life things, but again, I don't remember much about Manhunt's controversy at the moment, but I know it's one I can think of. It's one that you can kind of think of. We can definitely point at in terms of games that just were not allowed to exist in at least certain areas, and I think in general, but. Yeah. So that's on the violence spectrum. So, and I think, in my opinion, matters of, explicit, if we're looking at nudity or sexual content, yes, that does deserve a bit of a stricter thing, in my opinion. But I understand that on the opposite end, people who don't like violence also are as strict or even stricter than, again, nudity and whatnot. But again, this is just what I am thinking at the moment. Now, what I actually observe, it might be something different. Do I actually want to fight this, by the way? The player can marry after a long time play, if I recall, because she needs to be... Yeah, and that's... Again, it's not like you can do things that normally, like... What you say is actually correct, so that would be... You literally have to wait until, I think, the age of 18 for that ending, question mark, if I recall correctly. So, yeah. And then Manhunt got banned. Not very much, to be honest. Devil May Cry God of War more violent than... Yeah, so, it's just that I understand where the topic of, Manhunt versus God of War, Devil May Cry, GTA comes from, even though GTA is probably the closer to Manhunt of the two, but let me explain. So, and I've thought about this as well, because I do have some thoughts, even though I don't know as much about Manhunt, I understand why Manhunt got its sting, because I think it was, one, related to real-world events, and even if it were not, its setting is of real life nature. Like, it takes place in, like, it's not people are shooting fireballs and blowing people away. It is actual things that, and I think there's actually some controversy that rose from because of something in real life, but again, that is kind of the drawing point and understand where it comes from, as opposed to God of War, where you're swinging harpies around into the air before slamming them down, or Devil May Cry, where you're doing literal table hoppers at some point, and again defeating demons. So yeah, very realistic graphical violence and twisted story. If I were to quote something I see in chat, so yeah, and the story itself, again, at that point, it becomes I understand it because you can more reasonably attribute the story to, let's just say, a fantasy of sorts. And again, when a game starts catering basically to a fantasy, and it, even if that's not the original intent, if it works too much towards a certain fantasy or certain fantasies that are, you know, not the common sense of a human being, then yes, it is at that point more, I guess, what's the word, obscene and explicit for the sake of gratification, rather than, let's just even say, I don't want to keep saying this kind of a thing. Also, I'm bleeding, by the way, so let's get rid of that. As opposed to, so Manhunt can be seen more as a fantasy of some sorts than Princess Maker, which is more a fantasy of raising a daughter, which I would argue is not at all, you know, obscene. I think it's very. I think there is some merit to saying, you know, there is something good about raising a child at all, as opposed to, yeah, Manhunt's thing, which again, if as an artistic piece, this is just me thinking about possibilities, but if it was meant to kind of just, you know, obviously and more reasonably look at something in disgust, like the character is an antagonist of some sorts, then yes. But in the sense that, you know, just looking at it without knowing too much about it, it looks like a gratification of a fantasy, and that's not gonna fly. So, and nowadays you can have a game like Omori, which is play, and it's a little first scene of the character. Yeah, so again, in that case for Omori, we'll just say it outright, because that's what's being said in chat. In Omori's case, it is not, how should I say, a celebration or fantasy of unaliving, let's just say. The story is obviously not that, is what I'm trying to say. Also, we're in some trouble here. But and especially if you think about it, because we can't always say how we think about it. We have to think about how a human being walking on the street would look at the game. And when you look at Omori, if you show someone Omori, even just the first scene, they wouldn't immediately attribute that to, you know, a celebration of not being alive, let's just say. So if you kind of get where I'm coming from. Again, and these are all just observations, but I'm trying to keep things well, anywho. I have to thank Omori because it does have a very powerful... Again, the overall message of a story, even if you go past the first scene and you look at the overall story, at least from what I remember, it's, in fact, a very different message that you get from it. That is a very, you know, a positive message. Especially about the mental state and recovery of human beings. So, again, this is not... And if the threshold for being censored is having a very dark story or gameplay, boy, would a lot of games not exist right now. Let's just say that much. So all you saw from Omori is that Earthbound is a real big inspiration of the. And yeah, obviously that's, if that were not the case, it would be a really hard ask for people to not believe that. But I don't even remember if the developer said that themselves. I feel like the answer was yes, but yeah. So again, it depends on the game, and I don't think most of the games that I've talked about thus far fit in that. If you don't like a game, then yeah, don't support it with your money or not. The point of censorship, though, again, and things are free to censor. Now, whether a game should actually exist or not, that is a very hard threshold that gets into actual serious, like, while I don't believe that children are mostly affected by video games, I do believe that having video games out that shouldn't be out, like, we do need the ESRB system, that it does exist for a reason, but that the line of whether or not a game should exist or not And again, it does fall into like general human perception, but you can't just bandwagon something out of existence with certain arguments, I guess we should just say. Wonder how many children got traumatized by Gigas being little. Again, at this point, I don't know. It's again, you have to not think of yourself. And again, this does require you to. And everyone, most people should have this, but have the ability to not empathize or sympathize, but think about common human logic. And the way I keep saying it is literally go out into the street if possible, or meet someone that you meet just going out and ask them, hey, does this look bad? And you'll probably get your answer. Now, obviously, you should probably ask one, deeper questions after that, and two, more people than one, but you get the point. It's not about the self, and you have to be thinking about the whole in general. Or just the whole, not even in general. So let me just make sure I do this thing right. So if I rest, I will lose more stamina, but I don't think it'll matter anyway. But in the interest of surviving, I think we'll be okay. I've been autopiloting this whole time because my stats have just been so good. So ending of Mother 2 made you cry. I don't actually remember, so I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't know anything about it. But anywho, let's take Dexterity here, actually. No, do I want to take Dexterity? We'll take Stamina instead. I don't actually remember because I was doing a thing. Oh, painting. It goes to show how much I was focusing this run, but hey. We had something better than the Carpenter Hammer, in my opinion, so I was really, really comfortable with myself. But anywho, again, I'll give it a look. If we end the topic on Princess Maker 2, I will take a look at what is and is not going to be in the game, because obviously if I don't think I'm planning to stream it. I think I'm just gonna make a video, because if anything weird happens as basically a vanguard of the game, and by vanguard, when I say vanguard in this context, I mean someone who's playing the game without, blind pretty much when it comes out, without knowing anything, because no one can possibly know anything. Then yeah, I would probably want to record it so that I can censor anything, just in case there's something to censor. For my own sake. And obviously I'm a lot more paranoid about censors, where other people don't censor things at all. I do, so yeah. Although I think Refine, that's what it's called. Refine definitely had things to censor as we get into Ath, World of War, character exclusive custom character. And yeah, we have these are actually like 14, 18 charisma. And we have the Bone Saw, which I don't think I even spelled correctly, so let me just... Well, we don't have to live, we'll just live with this thing, but let me just actually look that up. I think it's called Hanson. I can't remember though. I did my best. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna be recording it. I don't know if it's first. I'm probably just gonna do it because yeah, there's no reason. Also, I'm gonna stick with this run, but just to kind of emphasize the point, I'm even gonna buy a bone saw from the thing. But we'll see. So if anyone here has any problems with me playing Princess Maker 2. Regeneration, there is probably an 85% chance I play that game when it comes out. I might even play Refine before that, but I'm definitely going to record it. Second, Takushi-san, Knowledge, Charisma, and Light Source, maybe. Then, yeah, I'm sorry, this is where we have to part, if you have really harsh opinions on that. But considering that I played Abaddon, I played the censored version of Abaddon too. Some people misunderstood that. As I kind of talk about that, I might as well. I've already mentioned it. But we're talking about things from a very philosophical, theoretical standpoint, because there is merit in talking about this. If we don't, discourse can exist mostly for a good reason, but if we don't talk about this, we're not gonna be able to grow on this. But yeah, some people misunderstood, as we have Botanist Ward, Ramen, Coma, and Nails, about how Abaddon was censored, and it makes sense. It was censored to remove content that, pretty much would not be looked at kindly in the eyes of the general public. Although from the developers' eyes, it still does fit the context of the story itself. It doesn't need to be there. So, and people thought, when they thought censored, they meant even nudity and whatnot. And no, that was not the case. It was to remove things that would not be looked kindly in more than a few countries. So, Yeah, and then Princess Maker 2 is regenerates guns. Again, you have to think about it, right? Well, actually, what is now? Now I'm curious. What is the ESRB rating of Princess Maker 2? Or I should probably just look on Steam, but or Refine. Let me do Refine. Refine is probably the one first. Actually, is Refine on Switch, by the way? Does anyone know that? Anywho, let me just take a look because it's coming out on Switch, which means, I mean, it's coming out on Switch, but. Yeah, T for Teens, by the way. At least from ESRB.org ratings, Princess Maker 2. T for Teens. So, yes, there is still merit. Again, a game can be rated T for Teens, but still have content that is not, that should not exist. Yeah, but at the same time, like, it is legally actually rated by the ESRB T for Teens. So, yes, while some people might argue, hey, well, it's because they missed this and this and this, that would be really weird because a lot of people will get in trouble if they allowed that. So, also, yes, 30th anniversary. It doesn't mean a lot because a lot of H games are on Switch. Yeah, that too. So, and again, literally take anything with a high school setting, and you can apply this. If we're looking at numbers and ages here, you apply the same logic. But at the same time, I'll even devil's advocate myself. The lower the age, obviously, the more dangerous it is. But so high school, I don't even want to say this. Why am I even humoring? I'm humoring this as a thought experiment, philosophy and whatnot. But yes, you can apply the same logic to anything in high school. So, anywho, about as old as you, the game, So, you get what I mean here, right? Like, if that were not the case, and obviously it is somewhat the case, because I think things are censored, like, if anything gets censored, like, yes, alright? But, fairies dancing around, I think, are not the most worrisome thing. Yes, I understand the marriage to the daughter ending. That, I understand. It's very obvious where that comes from. Where, in terms of, yeah, but to ban the game over it, and that's such a small part of the game too, it's like... Now, again, Sony is free to do what it wants. In that regard, Sony is free to do what it wants. I wasn't talking about that in terms of Sony, but just to let people know, in case you're getting into this, I'm still talking about this, but it is kind of interesting to talk about, and there's a good reason to talk about it, because it's just a precedent. I think I watched a certain video by someone, I don't remember who, because I watched a few, where they talked about how this can be a precedent for future games. So, if Sony is doing this now, and obviously I'm not going to be getting the PS4, PS5 version, I'm just going to announce that. I'm not saying it because I hate Sony. I'm just not getting on the PS4, PS5. I wasn't planning to, and I'm definitely not going to now because, yeah, there's things. But at the same time, yes, I understand. If that makes me weird for, not wanting to get the version because those things are censored, I don't know what to say. I can't convince someone like that. Also, I forgot to get the bone saw because I didn't find a single gosh dang thing. But yeah, you have a big French YouTuber that played Princess Maker 2. I saw that too. Basically, again, part of my research is to look into people who play it, and then I decide based on that, because I know I do not trust myself to go into something blind. But I do trust myself enough to go, if a few people played it like this, then I'm going to try. And this doesn't even include anything that is, on the extremes. This includes even things like if there's enough controversy of the game just in general, I will normally just avoid it. So, yeah, and I do base that on, how many people I see play. Also, I'm looking for a bone saw. Can I get a bone saw? Okay. But, anywho, I might die because of that, but hey, fun. And he's so me do the worst job stuff. Yeah, search it gives you videos from 6 years ago. Again, I've seen more than a few of those. Again, just out of my own interest of things, to see what I can and cannot do. And yeah, that's what I'm basing myself off of. And this does tie into what games you want to see me play, but hey, let's actually level up here. Predestined, but I actually need Doom. So, That being said, we have a lot of it. Even with, like, again, like 11 knowledge here, I think it's like 14, 11 knowledge here. We can only get a prep attack, which is kind of sad, but we'll deal with it. We can't even yet. Sorry, we can't even use that. I think we can brace into something, right? That's the most you get out of high strength, high dexterity, is to be able to brace. But anywho, but again, here these opinions are coming from someone who played Abaddon, so yeah. And yeah, again, if the person you're mentioning is the person I'm thinking of, then yes, actually, yeah, I'm gonna handcuff this encounter. We might have ward, but I'm probably just gonna try to run away. We have third eye and mind drain as well. We have 2 third eyes, but hey, we'll see what we can do. Do I have a bottle of water, by the way? I do, so I should drink this and fill this back up. And we're gonna take experience because we're doing good HP wise. Probably gonna be the case because normally, again, while stats don't affect. The stats affect you more in events than they do in battle, oddly enough as it is to say. But as we enter ward now, and I forgot to get a thingy, we'll just observe and move on. We might die to Doom, but hey, that's how kind of loose I'm playing it at the moment. So yeah, and at this point, again, just to kind of note off the top of my head, each country has their own, I think they have their own rating systems, right? I'm literally looking at a message from someone saying that's the case, so never mind, yes. But anywho, and again, it does. We do want to be aware of this because if you support or push back against certain things, you want to start taking a stand now, so we can move on into the future. Now, whether or not the choice is right or not is something completely different, but again, I think it's still kind of important. Are we going to lose more than we did? Yeah. Is it worth the experience? Probably not, so we're just going to run. We're probably going to take more than 5 Doom anyway, so we'll make the most of what we get. So yeah, you linked me a quick... Yeah, I just looked at that message. And yeah, in general, depends on the cultures. Yeah, depends on the cultures, but obviously don't break any laws. So, yeah. And at this point, normally, well, I mean, there's only so much of a threshold you can go towards, but part of that threshold, as we roll a 1 on a 19 charisma check, is that, yeah, obviously, in extreme cases, people should know better, but in this particular case, I don't think it applies. When that base saying don't shoot the messenger in this case, so people who are playing the game are not people you should be looking at, although you might have some validity in saying, well, they're playing the game, so they're advertising it for people to see. While that is true, you still want to stop it at its source if that's the case, but again, I'm not saying whether someone is right or not, I'm just saying that you're literally going, like, how should I say, in this regard, that's why when people look at it from the outside, people looking at criticism, certain criticism, especially criticism that are wrong, it's easy to note how should I say this? How it's not actually being done for the purpose it's being done for, and it's done mainly for, let's just say, clout in this case, clout, attention, so on and so forth. And that's literally the period on the sentence. There's not much more to add. I could, but there's not much more to add. So, I could do this, but Doom. So yeah, Mana was banned in Australia, Greece, and the UK, but censored. To be fair, Australia is like that, but the censoring sometimes is insane. Again, each country is they do their own thing, and there's not much to be said about it. But at the same time, whether it's right or not is a different story, but they are legally in their right to do what is possible. And again, I do want to keep stating here that you want to do what is legal in your area of residence. And there are protections for both companies, developers, and the common citizen in these regards. But again, at this point, it's more an argument of opinion than of, hey, this person should be arrested for doing this. There are far better ways to be using resources like that. But again, to each at this point, again, it's a matter of opinion rather than. I was wondering what this was. This part of the character, I was going crazy. Anywho. We do get a bunch of sever damage, so we might even want to take this in the interest of not getting our Doom oofed. But yes, to kind of speak more generally on the topic, because it is, I think there is merit in speaking about it, if for no other reason than to bring attention to false claims that should not be. I'm not saying you can't talk about it, I'm just saying that whether something is right or wrong, people can point it out, and so that's why we're talking about it now. Also, a little effect of whether or not I play it on this channel, but still, there's like an 85% chance I play it. Again, and these calculations include any games that may or may not come out, but you know. Pain, by the way. I could do this. I think I am going to do this. Do I want to do more? Yes, I can do more. So let's take 2 stamina damage, drink this bottle of water, and do a desperate prep strong. And we should be out? No. Okay, I got scared for a moment. But anywho, you would say in Europe the ratings usually the same. Germany the only ones to censor YouTube or other parts of it, for example. Again, and yeah, at this point, I mean, we're not even talking about was it China? China that banned Twitch, or is it Korea? South Korea. One of them, I forgot, but there is recently a country banned basically people in general from watching or streaming on Twitch, I think, was it, if I recall correctly? Also spell limit pain, but... And so yeah, again, to each country their own, whether they're right or wrong, they are in their... Whether or not it's a right or not, I'm not sure, but they can do it if they so please. Now, is it the right decision? Eh. But again, I don't know much about that matter, so... Anywho, as we move on here. Pain, a lot of pain, but we should still survive on Doom. Will we survive on Stamina? Yes, because we have every stat above 8 as a certainty. And I forgot to get the 5th key, so let's do that. Korea has YouTube forbidden anyways, and then the North doesn't have Twitch. South Korea doesn't have YouTube, really? Or they don't have access to YouTube? Ah, didn't know that. Also, we have one more mystery left, so I'm going absolutely insane. But, Monument, Stamina, Monument, can you ask for reason, please? No? I mean, we have funds, but... We have more funds, but... I mean, we could, but we should be okay-ish on Doom for now, so hey. That's why they use Bilibili. They have their own platforms instead of us. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I mean, not that I knew that and can have enough knowledge to know if it makes sense, but I can see where the cookie crumbs are leading, even though I might not reach the same destination anyway. But anywho. So yeah, censorship is censorship. I do believe there are a lot more instances of censorship for the wrong reasons, but one, whoever is censoring is in their power to do so, and 2, it's not normally a case of it needing to be censored or not, and by that I mean if something is censored, it's, you know, it's not gonna hurt the game too much usually. But, again, as I understand, and I am on the side of saying, yes, it is a precedent for censorship, not even strict censorship, but censorship where there doesn't need to be, is what I'm trying to get at. So, anywho. Okay. Roll a 12 on luck. Haha! You can't roll a 12 and beat me if I have a 12 as well. Gosh dang it. Anywho. So without further ado, let's finally move on. I don't think we're on the Zictaster. Yeah, we're still doing Ath. But we'll give a small allowance and move on with life. We get a map for our trouble, which would have helped me earlier, but a bit late now. Actually could have been able to level up, but I think we're fine here. Well, time skipped, so never mind. Let me just cast Expel Evil here for a moment. We still even have Book of Gore, so theoretically speaking, we even have this, so yeah, we're definitely good. But anywho, still doesn't ask me anything, stream. You might trip me up and get me to say something that I don't actually mean, but we can still think about it. This character kind of OP, by the way. Yeah, I mean, all things, yes, objectively, while having over 10 in every stat isn't the biggest change, it's still enough of a change to allow you to basically curb stomp the game. So, as we'll see in the Zectas run coming up, I can even get these wrong, I'm pretty sure. Even if I die, you kind of get the point at this point. So we're going to Mind Drain. Because we also have Predestined. Predestined? That increases my max reason. So we're free to do this. We're free to continue draining Takshi's mind until he's a mindless husk on the floor. But, yeah. Yeah, in this regard, any character with over 10 in any stat, really, except unless one of their stats is below 4, is OP. But, yeah. Also, starting with the weapon is pretty nice as well. I think we would have had I think we're now changed properly to the Bonesaw. I guess we're going to find out. But as we set things to a random backstory and set the random item statistics to random, we'll see as we get to the Zectast run. If she had those stats but had permanent ringing ears, for example, she'd be more balanced. Yeah. So, yeah, permanent, and again, a permanent ringing ears, because ringing ears only last for mystery. But that's why you said permanent, obviously. So, I forgot to check my thingy-majiggy, but we're gonna see what happens with this Bonesaw. 6 damage, 98 speed. So, pretty much a shovel in this regard. Although we're on Eldritch Parasite, so never mind. Throw everything I was gonna do out the window. The one thing I can say is we have Takushi-san, Charisma, Second Mystery, Dexterity, Knowledge, and maybe Light. Is that aside from Strength and Charisma, we're still gonna pass. 1, we're still gonna pass a lot of Lighthouse checks, and 2, we're still going to pass a lot of events in general. So that's objectively, that is the still advantage this character has on Zectast, is that even though they get their stats nerfed and I spend some Doom, we're not going to die immediately. And that might be unfair because it's OP to just look at stats like this, but you get the point. Also, while we're using the Bonesaw, we might as well just do Roommate now. Can you give a permanent curse to the character? No, because just by nature of it has to be inbuilt into the curse. No, unless you add, well, you can try to pseudo it in a way, but it's not guaranteed. By that I mean you can add in custom events that give curses and whatnot. I forgot if it's still random at that point, but you get what I mean. You can try to give them injuries and curses, but a specific injury or curse in general, the short answer is no. So I'm struggling in real life, as I say. We gotta wait. We gotta make do with what we've got, and we'll see what if we get anything else. Again, we're still waiting on the update, obviously, but. Pain. But anywho, as we fight this roommate here, I think we get near a one-shot. If we don't just one-shot this, because we do 6 or 7 damage a turn, so isn't the worst I could do. And in fact, Mind Drain and or Ghostly Spear would have helped out, but we'll just get rid of that mystery now, so we don't have to deal with it later. You need more customization, Panstaz, says someone in chat. Yeah. Yeah. Although at that point, again, any heavy customization like that would definitely need just as much, if not a longer bug testing time, because, boy. I mean, some of that is on the player, obviously, at that point, because more than a few people have made some syntax errors already with what we have, but, you know, also I should not have done this, but thankfully it's a ghost encounter, and I get a lot of damage on ghosts as this character. If we were any normal base character, this would be a not great one. But anywho, as we just steal 40 experience from that, we'll take Quick Thinking. Ghost Connection would actually be nice. And you know what? We're going to do that. And actually, we're going to do my strat of just looking for Mind Drain and a Ghostly Spear. We only need one of them right now, so it's fine. Now, whether or not we're going to get one is a completely different story. This character starts with Book of Gore, but unfortunately Book of Gore is going to not help us here, so yeah. We're just going to sit here until we get one of those two. Even though, yes, all my stats are as high as they are, we're going to sit here until we get one of the two. So, yeah. Maybe that being said, obviously when your stats are as high as this, you have a higher chance of surviving Eldritch Parasite. Again, my worry is that usually you had to... Oh, I should have taken the Gruesome Totem, by the way. Is that your stats lowering is what's going to do the most damage through events, or just in general events because you can't recover. So, all things considered, with that logic, I should just be going off and investigating, but in the interest of fighting things, especially if I run into certain custom enemies, we do want Mind Drain and or a Ghostly Spear. Now, we're not getting either of those, but we gotta do the best of what we've got. So, here's Ghostly Spear, and away I go. I should actually visit the monument once. And away we go. Police station as well. I completely forgot, so I'm just gonna set things to the forest, and if you have vigil, well, just cry to myself. Yeah, so I had a third, let's see, how much will be Princess Maker 2, by the way? I'm not sure, I'm still actually trying to look that up. People are saying it's gonna be 20, 30, regeneration anyway, and I know Refine is 20, but I'm gonna wait for that to go on sale, hopefully. Which is kind of gonna hurt me, because I do want to get it now. It was actually on sale, Refine was on sale a while ago, but I think Refine is, actually, let me check. Now I'm just curious, because this does involve me doing a thing. I will move on here, but I'm also gonna look up Princess Maker 2 in the background. You normally look on Steam DB, but hey. Yeah, Refine is $19.99 USD. So, it follows that Refine might be $10 or $20 more. But again, that's me approximating, so we'll see. If you have, I think, a common piece of, not criticism, a common comment, yes, obviously, you are free to do with your money as you will, because it makes sense. But even me, I mean, I have yet to buy Refine or Regeneration, but the general consensus is that if you have Refine, you don't actually need Regeneration, because they're both essentially the same game, gameplay-wise, but one, if you're a fan, you won't care, but two, the more important part of it is that if you're looking for a different experience, or if you don't have the game, or if you're looking for a different experience, there's not really anything different, I recall. Some people want to talk about endings, but I don't think that's true. So really what you're looking at is updated graphics. So essentially the same thing that I think you specifically mentioned to me about SMT5. Except SMT5 actually has more content, so it's actually a worse version if we're looking at things objectively than that. But still, the general comment, let me just shorten this, is that if you have Refine, you don't need Regeneration. But if you're a fan or don't have Refine, then you get Regeneration, like you will be for me. Especially depending on the price. But if the price is 20, that's kind of still the threshold as well. And by threshold, I mean people aren't willing to get Regeneration if they have Refine. But since I don't have either, then my goal will be to get it. But if I want to do Refine as well, so what I was thinking of doing is basically getting Refine on one of my Steam accounts and getting Regeneration on the other, and then playing both as a kind of a two-player experience. But we'll see. I kind of just dropped that just out of nowhere, but just know that that's something I often look at when I'm looking at games and deciding whether or not I want to do a thing. At least in the way of videos and streams, but hey. Again, streams are going to be less feasible for Refine/Regeneration due to nudity, which in general is something that I am paranoid about, so yeah. Anywho. Like, I'm even censoring the boss of this thing here, even though I didn't even notice it, but I was made aware of it, so yeah. Robots. In general. You never know. You never know. Anywho. But yes, now with Ghostly Spear, if nothing else, if we're to focus on the game for a bit. Also, we have, like, more than 10 luck, so this is definitely some kind of weird luck check, but... And that's all supposed to be the end of the day. I keep not doing that because that's actually the event I'm doing next. But yeah, actually I should have taken that because I do pass most of my checks. But yeah, if your stats are normally high on Eldritch Parasite, you can probably work with just a regular strat, not having to grind for Ghostly Spear or Mind Drain. But if you happen to get Ghostly Spear or Mind Drain within 6 to 10 Doom, you're probably doing a lot better. So again, yeah, we have this character has 10 luck, or around 10 luck. So, shrug. So, you're pretty almost sure, 100% sure that the elevator is a real inner luck check. Again, I just want to make sure I'm right before I release the event of the day video, which, I mean, someone will probably correct me anyway because I'm not really asking people, but I can only work with what I've got. Anywho. So, we Ghostly Spear here for the sake of doing damage, and yeah, we just get out. Brings the game tossing a coin if you have one luck in a game, and yeah, and I know that Ill-Fated is not affected too. So basically, I have to get a bunch of footage for that, which again doesn't take as long. It's just that I've been busy, so yeah, I had not had time to do the event of the day. Anywho, while keeping his increasing strength, we don't really care about charisma, unless I'm gonna die to reason, but that would be really weird as we get into footage. Now, if I have roads closed. That's going to be the deciding factor. But until then, all we can do is ask Panstas directly about it to be 100% sure. Yeah, and I think Panstas has kind of mentioned that indirectly, saying that luck does have its... Well, the luck stat does have effects elsewhere, but at the same time as a roll of 1 and a 10 luck check, is that the elevator event in particular kind of is probably not what Panstas is talking about as I investigate this max threat level mansion for some reason. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, close enough it doesn't matter, right? If we don't know the exact specifics, but I'll do another check in the community just to be sure. So as we lower Doom by 2 and heal no reason, because we're taking reason penalty, so anytime I recover, quote-unquote, either or doesn't actually count. But yeah, also I have a lock of hair without needing it because we're on the Eldritch Parasite. So we are going to fight this. And we don't even have max stamina yet, but, you know, we swing this Bonesaw really, really hard and we defeat Veronica. Anywho. So we do get out of the forest really quickly, but... Oh, we also got Mind Drain. Hey! Although we do now need to forget 2 of these. With the power of Ghost Connection, all we're really worried about... Well, we really should be worried about now is our Doom. But our reason keeps dwindling because max pet level location. So, yeah, our mansion is max pet level 2, so let's do this for the sake of Doom, if nothing else. But, yeah, any penalty damage I'm going to be taking is going to be real. So let's try our best to not do that. To not get penalized there. You wonder if you should do your new save with custom characters unlock. Yes, custom characters can unlock achievements. And we only really have 1 or 2, well, a few if you count challenges, but you get what I mean. We only have a few instances of achievements that are based on character, and the achievement will explicitly say it, usually, if required. But, yes. Other than that, 90% of your achievements can probably be done with a custom character. So, and especially if you just keep switching items and stuff around, you can basically... Yeah, I would call it a cheat. You can basically cheat all of the achievements in... Although the biggest cheat would be to back up a save file and just copy-paste. But, again, that's to each their own. We don't even have Steam achievements, so there's not really... You're not really getting anything, aside from... What you're getting is saving real-life time, but that's a good thing, I think. So, yeah. Anywho. But the short answer is yes. And if I'm wrong, well, that would be really weird. I feel 95% sure. The short answer is yes, though. Well, you don't think you'll change anything about the character? Yeah. Again, it's up to your own prerogative. Prerogative? It's your own thing. Also, I noticed I didn't get any penalty damage there, but hey. We'll take off these funds. We'll move on with life. And yeah. So I think in the interest of doing the next stream, because while I have a third character... It's perfectly fine if we don't move on, especially since I need to go AFK. I said I was going to go AFK, didn't need to until near now. So, with that said, if anyone's only here for World of Horror, let me just thank you for watching now. Otherwise, I mean, I can Zatsudan for a few minutes, but I am basically trying to get prepared just in case anything goes really weird as I try to stream Lily's Well. So, yeah. But, if you have any requests, please let me know now. Then at least maybe I can go AFK and do a run, but otherwise... Yeah, Zictast, we're on Zictast, right? Like, this is, yeah, what you see is what we got. Again, both characters, though, in their own regard, were powerful. Obviously, this one more than the other one, if I'm to speak more objectively, on my opinion, anyway. I think I have 12 knowledge. I have 12 knowledge because I can barely see some pixels, but that's just me remembering. Yeah, we should have 12 knowledge, so well, like, we don't even need to look at this. We have more than enough Doom, we have more than enough HP, just climb. And we'll see. So yeah, Takshisan here is just gonna get... He's gonna take this spear, then he's gonna be mind drained. And then we're going to do some fear and hunger stuff as we handcuff him on the floor. And yeah. So yeah. And I'll probably save the other character for the next stream if there is more content. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be guessing. Only the character has a few more inches to the left, yeah. Yeah. So, again, to each their own. This is, I think, this is a Chinese custom character, so The only thing I really translated was the thingamajiggy, the bonuses. And yeah. So without further ado, yeah, I think I'm just going to cut this one short here. So I have like 45 minutes-ish to prepare Lily's Well, just in case I do something really weird. But we're going to be going on, so just to kind of announce it, because there are no jump scares as I'm talking. Basically, the only thing I did was do the basic, hey, brute force ending, where I tried to use a ball of yarn to descend the well, and obviously that didn't go well. So, yeah, without further ado, though, again, I just want to at least announce things here, because it is technically Sunday for me. So to announce what's going on throughout the week, if I don't introduce another game, there's going to be more Harbinger Horror, there's going to be more Slay the Spire, and there might be another game, but we'll see. And then obviously I'm still doing game development. If that happens, it'll pop up. That way I'm not just surprising you out of nowhere. But there'll always be at least one World of Horror video. Whether I do Event of the Day, depends on me, but, you know. Again, as we close out the stream, just give you another extra minute in case anyone has any questions, comments, suggestions, concerns. I will address them here. But yeah, this last minute or so, just announcing what I'm doing. Next weekend, though, is still going to be Nuzlocke on probably Friday-ish. Well, again, based on US time, but if you can work off that, Friday is going to be Nuzlocke. I'll try to schedule it ahead of time. Saturday might be a beta stream, but it might be a Batsu instead, and then Sunday will be a beta stream or Nuzlocke. I'll decide then, but definitely Friday is going to be the Nuzlocke. Saturday is likely going to be a Batsu stream, and by Batsu stream I mean, hey, do some stuff or I get a Batsu. Might not be World of Horror in this week, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. And I'll think about what else I want to do. Princess Maker is probably going to be the 4th or 5th game I'm adding to this channel, because I still want to do Stardew Valley. Oh, that's what the other one. Stardew Valley, if I try to do it, I'll probably try to record something today, but again, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So yeah, without further ado though, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you want to support me any way you want to support me, please do so. If you don't want to support me or you just want to go, Jordan, I'm not going to watch you anymore because you plan to play Princess Maker 2 at some point, then I guess I'm sorry for that, and this is where we part ways. Now, obviously, if something really bad or good happens, you are free to leave or join me for that matter, but again, please use your own brain, and if you believe in something, I mean, please find out if you're right or wrong. I'll be doing the same myself, and you do what is good for you. So, without further ado, yeah, have fun with the other game you can't watch. I'll definitely have fun playing it. It's an RPG Maker MV. It was a game made in RPG Maker MV, I believe. So I'll have a lot of fun as someone who's developed in MV before. But yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll see you when I see you, and that'll be it for now. If you want to contact me, I'm available on Discord, business things through business email, and so on and so forth. Comment on videos if you want, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye!